process for when you hit a roadblock at any of those companies that you're bringing on and you're acquiring? Because obviously there is a roadmap to how you got to $100 million.
Maybe there isn't a roadmap.
Wake up every day, go to work, and work hard. Our core values as a business are win-win-win. First is core value. Make sure that you're everyone involved in a decision in business, everyone is having a win. Your customers have to have a win. Your employees, the people that you work with, have to have a win, and the company has to be profitable, so it has to have a win. Now, one thing I'll point out on that, we truly believe that our customers have to have a win, but a little twist on that. My customers, personally, I mean the management team, and so my customers are our employees.
Right.
I need to make sure that the people I work with and surround myself with is my number one priority. I need to make sure they have a 5-star experience. And then I know that if I'm taking care of our employees in any way I can, they're going to take care of their customer, which is our homeowners that we provide service to, right? But win-win-win, honesty and integrity is our second core value. Hard work and being fully invested. We believe that if somebody will come in and they're focusing on giving a 5-star experience, they're honest, they're taking care of people, they have integrity when nobody's looking. They'll work hard, really hard, right? It takes hard work to be successful, and being fully invested. We provide a lot of opportunities for people to work with us to invest in themselves, to get great training and to develop their skills and abilities. And we've promised them that if they'll invest in us, we'll invest in them. So those are some core values I think we really focus on at work and at home and in life. You live by those, you'll be successful. So,
well, work, home, life, right? Make sure that your core values are aligned as an owner with what your, like, not in just your work, but everywhere, right? Because you want to eat, sleep, live, breathe what your core values are. And, I like the part, where you talk about your customers and your employees. I mean, your people, product, price. I mean, I always look at it that way. I mean, if you care about your people first as a business, whether that's either your customers or your employees, they're both one and the same. And I'm glad you made that distinction. You're always going to have a winning business. But if you put price or product in front of your people, it's never going to be successful.
I agree with you. Price is one of those things. Obviously, we have to charge the right price to be profitable as a business. And I tell you what, we believe in making money. We're going to have a strong profit, and we're always going to continue to do what it takes to make sure the profits are coming in.
Correct.
But that doesn't mean you just raise your price without having without putting the effort in to know that you're charging the right price, not just too much.
Yep.
So,
love it. I'm curious what your sticking points were in your business. Were there any certain levels in revenue where you guys stuck around a little bit too long, or longer than you were hoping for, on your way through this process?
The biggest sticking point that I saw in this 12-year history, there was a time when we were at approximately 35 million.
Right.
Okay. And before then, obviously you got little hurdles you're overcoming, right? But we did pretty good with the team we've got at getting past most of those hurdles. But there was a time when we did some restructuring in how management was positioned, not changes in people, but just how it was set up, right? And for a short time, we fell slack on our recruiting efforts just a little bit. Now, Wyatt, for any of you that know Wyatt, incredible man. If you ask him what's the most important thing in your business, I'm going out on a limb here, but I think he'll tell you it's recruiting, right? He actually ran all the recruiting in our business personally until we were 35 million in revenue. Now, one of the things I've seen a lot of businesses is people just don't have somebody wearing the recruiting hat. Right. Everybody's so busy running the operational side of things that hat gets neglected just a little bit.
Yep.
It was so important to us for our growth and bringing in the right people to boost our culture that Wyatt himself did that recruiting till 35. Now, when we did that restructuring just a little bit, we didn't grow nearly as much that year as other years. We've grown typically close to 30% every year,
right,
for years and years and years and years. And that year we slowed way down because the recruiting efforts changed.
Right.
And so we noticed a hurdle there. We started rebuilding and getting back on top of recruiting, and we just took right off again. So if people want to grow, it comes to recruiting, but not just recruiting right. Bring strong people in. Don't just hire everybody. hire people that you know are going to do a good job, that are going to be a part of your culture and lift the people around them.
Right.
And then if you found somebody you believed enough in to hire, stick by them. You know, when a year later rolls around and you see that they're not performing quite as well, it doesn't mean that they're worn out and no good. It means that something's happened and they need you to boost them back up and make them strong again. So hire the right people, believe in them, and give them support. You hired them for a reason. You believed in them once. Give them what they need to be successful.
Yep. I'm curious on that. I mean, knowing that the recruiting part of it was the cause for the slowdown, what gave that away to you guys? What was the metric that you noticed to say, shit, we got a problem with our recruiting side of things. We need to step that back up to get back on our growth?
You know, it wasn't just one thing. It was pretty obvious from the get-go that not enough new hires were coming in. The company was slowing down a little bit. It took us a minute to get it back on track. We needed to make sure that the restructuring we were working on was done and everyone was stable in their positions and we were ready to move forward and get the right person in. I will tell you that at that point I was honored because Wyatt asked me to step in his place and take on the recruiting. So at about 36 million, I jumped in the recruiting role and we took off like a storm.
Even was better than when Wyatt was in charge of it?
I'm not going to go there. Wyatt is he's a powerhouse. I mean, if you haven't ever been able to just sit down with him personally, you need to, because he'll inspire you. He inspires everybody. He's a better recruiter than I am. But I was honored to be able to jump in and start taking on that role, and we grew very well.
So with that, I mean, I guess, what are your guys' keys to recruiting? Somebody's hearing this, they're like, I don't even know where to start. There's a lot, I know, but
I'm going to invite you to come out for a visit and see the recruiting firsthand. And anyone that's listening is welcome to come for a visit, where our doors are open. But I can give you a few things. We take a unique approach to the recruiting process. We invite everybody. We get about 500 applications per month. Okay, so we get a lot of people interested in coming into the business. Single location, yeah. Okay. Yep. And now people that are joining us in the partnership as well, we're helping them to, where we can find a need, in recruiting, to just give them some suggestions and pointers, but they're all doing very well. Right. But we take a unique approach. We invite everybody. We don't screen applications beforehand, because some people might just suck at writing an application, right? Not a resume, right? So we invite everybody in, and experienced or non-experienced, because we're hiring in all positions, right? We're looking for great people that boost our culture. Right now we're about 365 employees at that one location, and we, for 5 years running, have maintained 90% retention. We don't let our people go. We fight for them. But in this recruiting approach, we'll bring people in. We'll take them on a tour of the entire facility. Right. When they come for an interview, we don't just sit them across the desk. We take them for a tour. We want to see what they're going to be doing if they join us. And as I've done those tours and taken people around the business, my goal is always to break down barriers. If you just bring them in and put them across the desk for an interview, they're nervous. Yep. You're not going to see who that person really is, because they're just kind of terrified to be sitting there across from whoever's there, right? Me, I'm in a tie. I'm going to be intimidating. But I'll take them around the building, and I'll get them to laugh. Right. I'll crack some cheesy jokes and break down those barriers, ask them some questions, get to know them. And I'll do those tours in a group. So I'll have 10 to 15 people at a time, and I'll get them to start talking to each other and show them around the place, get them laughing. By the time the tour's over, I have a pretty good idea who I think would be a great fit with the company, right? And then we'll give them an interview and talk to them one-on-one and give them a chance to express themselves. But another thing I found too is I'm interviewing people, like I say in that tour, whether they're going to be a good fit or not. Yep. Now, sometimes the reasons they're not a good fit, it might just be that they need to go get a little bit more experience, or they need to mature a little. And so we can give them some coaching. We might say, hey, go and learn what's behind the sheetrock and then come in and do service with us. We just might not have that apprenticeship role open at the time. Right. But a lot of times you don't see a great fit maybe ever, but they just went on a tour and saw how cool the business is and they want to work here so bad. It's a great opportunity to ask them if they know anyone else that might be interested in working with us at any hour. Right. Okay. So I can't tell you how many people we've found that have joined our business that came from people that I never hired. No. So it's a good opportunity.
Referrals on recruiting is like Most people don't think about that, right?
No.
I do
They
want
don't.
to say that the average retention rate of a company in the US, this is just not HVAC in general, is about 60%.
Yeah.
So you guys are 90%, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
Based on culture, right? So
Yep.
what's your top cheesy joke that you say?
Well, it's terrible to ask. You're putting me on the spot.
Well,
It's
that's
embarrassing.
that's how we roll. That's how we roll.
So I always get a chuckle because, you know, I'm not really skinny, but we have a pretty nice gym there, a workout facility. And
Yeah.
we'll go through the gym. And of course, I got to point out my round belly and talk about how I don't actually use the gym. And everybody laughs at my suffering. But no, it's just whatever you think of it.
Yeah.
My tours are never scripted. People
Right.
come through and it's always kind of fun and witty, right?
Nice. I like that.
But no, I share my roundness and it makes people laugh. I don't know why. It's not funny to me. So
Guess you got to use that gym.
I do. I need to use the gym more. That's all right.
Well, as we wrap up here, because we try to keep these fairly short.
Yeah.
And we'd definitely love to have you on for a longer episode at some point as well.
You just tell me when.
Absolutely. I'm curious, what's one question you wish people would ask you more, but they don't?
A question they ask me more, but they don't ask. I think we're going to go back to that, the conversation about retention. You know, I see so often people are so willing. Somebody comes and says, I'm quitting. They give notice, whatever it is. They're just so willing to let them go.
Right.
So the question I wish they'd ask me is, how do we keep our people? Not how do I replace my people? Don't replace your people. Keep them. Talk to us. We're happy to share secrets on what we've done to create a culture where people want to stay. And then even more when people decide, hey, I don't want to work here anymore. I mean, to me, that's personal. They're firing me, and I'm
Right.
kind of not okay with that.
Right.
And so what do we do to save those people? How do we get them to re-engage in the business and be involved again? Let's talk about it. Let's figure out how to keep our people, not just replace them.
I love that. Yeah. I was going to ask, what's your number one tip in keeping people? But I think we probably we hit on that pretty good.
It usually has ice cream involved.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like ice cream.
Yeah.
Nice. That doesn't help with the round belly, but
No.
Yeah.
amazing. If someone did want to reach out, what's the best way for them to reach out?
I would be happy to have you call me directly. Can I
go for
get
it.
my phone number on here? Right?
Oh, sure.
All right. So call me directly. My number is area code 801-787-3546. I will point this out really quick. When I started with Any Hour, again, 12 years ago, the first week I was on the job, Wyatt and myself jumped in the truck. We called this our Good to Great trip.
Yep.
If you're familiar with the book Good to Great by
Jim Collins.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Jim Collins, fantastic book if you haven't ever enjoyed that book. So we threw the book on the truck CD player, right, back then. And
At least you didn't say 8-track. That's over 12 years, so I guess.
yeah, we jumped in the truck and we drove to Denver from Utah. It's about an
Yep.
8-hour drive. And we went and visited with 3 different businesses there. And we learned from them. We're $2 million in revenue back then, right? We went and we toured their facility. They were gracious. They opened their doors. They shared lunch with us, and we had just a fantastic experience. And so we've benefited greatly from people over the years that we've been able to visit with, and we have always opened our doors for people to come and learn from us if we can share with them.
Love that.
So yeah, my phone number is there. Anyone is welcome. Call me anytime except for when I'm asleep.
I was going to say 3 a.m., but
I was going to put out a time there, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
But no, we would love to have people come visit. We're all about opening the doors and sharing what we're doing. We hope to see the industry improve. So please come. Love to have you.
I love it.
Yes.
And I sincerely hope that there are owners that have the courage to step up and set their ego aside and say, I'm willing to come learn.
Yep.
Please.
Because that's the only way you really, truly grow.
It is. I mean, success leaves clues, right?
Mhm.
And if you, even if your goal isn't to be $100 million per year business, maybe your goal is a $10 million per year business, or even a $5 million per year business, and you're not there, and you just want to have that ear, or that, I guess, use your ear for that person to just get some advice. Put the ego aside and just pick up the phone and call.
Absolutely.
Yep.
If you come for a visit, we're going to introduce you to all the managers. You're going to meet people in all the trades. You're going to be able to tap into the experience that got us to where we are. And we made it through those growth obstacles you talked about together as a team. We can share the different levels of that progress as a company.
Yep.
But we're happy to share the people that have helped us get there.
Amazing.
Love it.
Thank you so much, Dustin. Appreciate
welcome.
you taking the time.
Chris.
We'll let you get back to the event. Maybe go have a beer tonight at the Black Tie, man.
There we go.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Awesome.
Till next time.
Cheers.